Okay, looks like we are officially live. Welcome to Pro Power Hour. Happy Thursday, happy almost weekend, happy almost Friday. I'm Chris Weldon. I'm one of the community managers with Housecall Pro, and this is our Pro Power Hour series that we have been doing for the last couple of months. You can expect us live here in the Housecall Pros Facebook group every Thursday at about 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. And you can kind of think of this as kind of a little crash course training webinar that you can attend. This is open to any pro, whether you're in our community or not. So if you chat in, they'll start getting info over to you. If you know anybody that's struggling, maybe they're not on Facebook, but you know that they use House Call Pro, you can invite them to these. Every week we take a feature or a section of a feature, just kind of depends. And we do a full in-depth training on it. We talk about the benefits of the product, why you should use it, who it works for the best. And then usually we get an awesome live demo by Phil. He's kind of I call him our resident onboarding specialist that's with us every week, just about every week. And so we've done a variety of features and topics so far. We started off with service plans. We've talked about a little bit we've dabbled a little bit in estimates. We've dabbled a little bit in marketing campaigns. We've kind of jumped all around. And today we're going to be talking about chat. We're going to be talking about all of the different communications really that you have with your customers inside of Housecall Pro and how you can manage those. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Phil though, and we'll get started.
All right, sounds good. Hello, everybody, again. I'm Phil. Today, I guess I'm the floating head. I just realized maybe I should have put on something a little lighter, but it's all good. Yeah, so today we're going to go over, as Chris mentioned, just kind of how you can chat with your customers. We know it's a big deal. I'm, again, part of the onboarding specialist team. And always on the first call, I'm going to say about 90% of you show up to us and always say, we want a way to be able to speak with our customers a little bit better. We want to improve these communications. Um, Worked with pros that have come in from pen and paper and just picking up the phone. And that's why we've developed within our product a great way to shoot out text messages as well as emails to stay in touch with your customers. So you can keep those relationships warm and keep that revenue reoccurring for you. So as typical, we'll kind of go through the normal workflow here. I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the product, show you all a little slide deck, and then I will pull up my account. We'll do a little bit of demoing on the certain features that we can do. And at the end, we will answer some questions and obviously take any questions. So
Sweet.
without further ado, let's get into it.
And Phil, while you get that up, I just wanted to remind everybody to drop your questions along the way. I'm in the thread, Lauren's in the thread, and I also wanted to say, hey, Jason, hey, Franklin, good to see you guys. Jason, I see your question. I'm going to answer that in a reply and talk a little bit about it at the end. But Phil, take it away.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, talking about the text messaging feature. Now, every time I do an intro call with a new pro, a new business, this is the first thing that I try to get you to do is registering for the custom text SMS number. So house call, there are 3 text messages that go out automatically from the system, technically 4, but the 3 main ones are when a job has been scheduled, when a technician says they are on their way, when we say that we are finished with the job, and it's followed up by a text message prompting to leave a review. Now, and what I tell everybody is before you even get to this register part, these text messages are coming out from some random number within house call, and it's very inconsistent. So it's always a benefit for you. First thing is to go to text messaging within your account settings, go ahead and hit that register button. Now, I get the question all the time is, what am I registering for? Why do you need this information? Well, the reason is because the government has cracked down on junk numbers. You know, I hate getting phone calls from people that don't exist just as much as you do. I hate getting text messages from all those different companies that I buy clothes from, and they come from random numbers. So what we've gone ahead and done is that you just simply have to verify your business. Usually we have all the information provided for you. All we need is your EIN number. Sometimes we may just need your EIN number as well as your website. So I always encourage, if you haven't set up this feature, do this as soon as possible because there is a little bit of a review period. Usually it takes about a day or two. Sometimes it can take a little longer. But once you are approved, a huge banner comes across your account that says, go ahead and pick your custom SMS number. If there are any discrepancies, instead it will be a big red banner that says, go ahead and click here to make any changes. To avoid hitting that red banner, I always tell my pros is to go ahead and make sure that when you look at this particular form right here, that pops up when you hit that register button, that you are putting in your legal entity. If that doesn't work, then go ahead and try your DBA. And then also make sure that the EIN and all the information, including the address, is the same information that goes on all your tax forms. So before we take a kind of a look at what those text messages are going to look like, there is talking about the messaging within the inbox. Now, last week we did do a whole session pretty much on the inbox, the job inbox, how the specific marketing lead generators that we work with, how we get those into our inbox. Well, also within our inbox is where we can go and look at all of our text messaging between our customers, as well as text messaging between our employees. And also, if you have the VoIP feature, you are familiar with that. When we go to the inbox, that is also where your call log is, so that you can keep track of all your calls. So really, what we are trying to accomplish here with the inbox is that you're one stop for all of your communications with all of your customers. So just kind of reiterating the point on the slide is that we've broken it up so you can talk specifically to your customers and specifically to your employees and keep those separate. So using the inbox within the web browser, as I mentioned, we go up to our inbox, and that is where you'll see these options here for customer, employees, community, and job inbox. Within there, you'll be able to select between your customers, your employees, and again, your job inbox where those lead generators are if you have those up and running for you. So with the member management, this is more towards when you are text messaging within your organization with all of your employees. Now, on both sides, employees as well as customers, you can set up group text messaging, but within the employee section, because when you add an employee, there's an option to add their their cell phone number. So when you do that, and I usually advise this to make sure at least all of your field technicians have their phone number in there, so that way you can go ahead and set up basically these member groups so that you can send out blast text messages and keep text threads between specific members and employees within your organization. So another thing you're going to want to do is when a common question, a common thing that I've gotten from pros has really been like, how do I know these text messages are coming in? And I always have to walk them through is going ahead to make sure that we have those desktop notifications enabled. So I also tell everybody is that our program works best with Chrome. So really a lot of the information we have on how to turn on these particular notifications goes through Chrome. If you've worked with Safari or some of the other servers that are out there, I would again strongly recommend you get Chrome, because maybe in the past you might have noticed some parts of Housecall seem a little buggy. And the number one thing that we always talk about to eliminate those types of bugs and glitches is make sure you're using Chrome. So with Chrome, you want to turn on those notifications. Otherwise, the only way you're going to know about this is anytime you refresh your screen, really the inbox is just going to have another number there of, essentially how many messages that you've missed. Now the inbox is available on mobile. This really comes down to, again, a little bit of permission setting. So as long as you set up field technicians with these permissions, they can go ahead and go into the inbox. Now within their own inbox on their mobile app, really they just kind of have the ability to text out to specific customers, and they can text to other employees. They don't really have as much access to the job inbox, if I'm correct, Chris.
I'm sorry, could you ask that again, Phil?
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure. I don't think they have access to the job inbox on
No,
the mobile app.
technicians do not have access to the job inbox.
That is, yeah, that's what I figured. So yep, they can text out to the customers through the mobile app using the job inbox, or I'm sorry, not using the job inbox, but the inbox feature on the mobile app, as well as other employees. So a couple of advanced features. So one of them is that within the web feature, you are able to go ahead and basically create these little notes. So when you are texting with a customer and another one of your office staff or another admin goes in to look at some of these text messages on their profile, they'll see these essentially a little sticky note about what is relating to this particular conversation that you're having with your customer. So these internal notes I have seen have been a huge improvement, and people really like these because, again, it kind of allows us to gather our thoughts on what we are talking about at that particular time with this customer. Now, another thing is the activity feed. So when you're looking at your inbox, as things start happening, you are going to see that activity happening within the inbox as well. So let's say like, Joe Smith over here, my technician, is out on a job working for Sarah over here. If Sarah is texting me saying, hey, Joe's over here wrapping up, like, how can I do payment? I can actually see the second Joe goes ahead and hits end the job. So as I'm talking to her, I can already understand where we are within our workflow and our process of dealing with billing. So another really great feature, you also do those when those jobs are, let's say, finished or an invoice is sent, those job numbers become links within your inbox, so you can always click on it to pull up your particular job that you're talking about. Oh yeah, and the last thing is the mentions. So you can always tag specific employees to messages and internal notes. So if anybody else within your company needs to uh, be aware of what is happening within this particular thread with a particular customer, you can always set that up so that they are mentioned and will be able to view these as well. Now, for the mobile app, one of the questions that we've continuously received in the past is how can we eliminate all these notifications? Sometimes we are just so inundated with the notifications, a lot of them may not really require our attention. So how do we go ahead and mark them red? So within the mobile app, you do have an option to mark them all as red, or you can turn off your chat notifications if you want to. And there's also a place to archive messages. That way, your inbox isn't just full of cluttered messages. If you're kind of a neat freak like me, you're going to go ahead and store them or archive them so you can clean it up and have more room for work that requires your attention at that time. Now, customizing those notifications, as I talked about, after you've registered for your SMS number, here's kind of a little video here. It's going to kind of go as I speak, but as you notice down below, it has the 3 text messages that go out to your customers, and you do have the ability to turn any one of them off. So if you do not want a specific text message going out, you can always turn it off, and you have the ability to edit them, which is what is bringing up for this window. Now, within that window, we give you a lot of variables, so that way you don't have to consistently change the email to say like, or the text message to say, hey, Joe Smith. You can just put in the customer name. Housecall is going to pull it based on which job that we're working for. Same thing with your technicians. A question that we've received going into this meeting, and one I've gotten in the past, is how do we, if a technician is going out with a group of guys, can we go ahead and say that there's more than one person going? As of right now, within our system, we can really only say that one technician is going out there, and it's always going to be the lead technician. And how can we adjust that? It would be going to your schedule. If you go over to where your employees are, similar to how the Google Calendar looks, where you can filter on and off employees from your dispatch calendar, you would want to move your lead employees to the top. And I'll show you this when we go into the demo, so that will make more sense a little later. Another improvement we made is the job reminders. And we still kind of have it for now. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be around, but we do have the email automations, and we have within our email automations a place to send out essentially a job reminder. We can have a email be sent out to the customer before a job starts. Well, now with job reminders, we can go ahead and make sure text messages also go out. So we can go, there's kind of a dynamic, already standard setting of the day before at 9 a.m. on your whatever time zone you are on, and you can go ahead and customize what the text message is going to say. But ideally, we'll have some variables there for you. Well, actually, they are there. We'll have some variables for you, so then you can go ahead and say, hey, customer so-and-so, please don't forget we are coming out tomorrow for the appointment that we scheduled with you previously, or something like that. And so just kind of what is the benefits of all these internal communications with your customers? So one of the things is, as I mentioned before, kind of building these stronger relationships, staying top of mind. We don't necessarily want to bombard our customers, but we want to be able to reach out to them at a frequency so that they don't forget about us. Boosting engagement, again, just kind of getting your name out there. People always like to talk word of mouth. So if you're constantly reaching out to customers and keeping those relationships warm, they will always be speaking highly of you to their friends, family, coworkers, things like that. And this kind of leads into the marketing center, which again, we did this a couple of sessions ago. So definitely feel free to go back in the archives we have for our Power Hour and check out our marketing center session where we went a little bit more in depth on that. I may touch on it a little bit today, but kind of more from just a higher surface because we've already gone in depth on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features that we have here and some of the ones that I've talked about. So let's go ahead and hop into my account. And first thing I want to do is just to kind of follow the slide deck as it goes. Setting up your text messaging. You're going to want to first go on up to your account settings. And you're going to want to be going to text messages. I don't have a legit business at this time, so I can't really go through registering for a text message at this time, but this is exactly where you would want to go. Hit the register button, put in all the information that is asked of it. Again, usually we would have most of it already provided if for your legit business, and really all you have to do is put in your EIN. We do have a couple of options, though. I didn't call out earlier. If you do not have an EIN, there is an option for that. And if you are one of our Canadian pros, you can always hit I do business primarily in Canada, which you will not be able to register for the text messaging. So once we've registered for text messaging, we've set up our text messages the way we want. As I showed you on the slide, the 3 text messages would show up right here, so we can go ahead and edit and remove anyone that we don't want. But when it comes time and those messages start going out, and customers start reaching back out to us, we're going to go on up to our trusty inbox. So as I mentioned, there's the split between the customers. So we would be able to go ahead and reach out to any specific customer. There is the spot for the employees. Now, because it's a little bit more internal, I'm a little bit able to do this a little bit more easier. But one of the questions that we got on the way over here was essentially, how do we know if a text message has been received? How do we know if it's been read? Well, the little check mark, sorry, right here, that's going to notify us that the person has received it. And if there are 2 check marks, they've at least been able to review it. So that's how we can know. Another way you can check on a question we had was in terms of job notifications that we're going to talk about in a minute. But with those, you would check your activity feed. So yeah, really out of the inbox, the going into that's where our text messaging would be. So then for job reminders, for those, we would go back to our settings. And within our settings, we are going to go to jobs. And there's an option for job reminders. Now, as I mentioned, as of right now, it's pretty static where we can have it go out the day before a job at 9 a.m. your local time. You do see down below here, here's the preview of what that text message is going to look like. You do have the ability to edit it and add any variables that you want. And there's also a way to override. So as I've always led people, when you're putting customers into the system, you can go ahead and set them for not able to receive notifications. But if you do want to override that, you can always flip the switch. And then these particular job reminders will go out to those people that have opted out for text messaging. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, let's talk a little bit just about the marketing side. As I mentioned, we went a little more in depth in here, but if you have that marketing feature, and here's where you can go ahead and set up your campaigns so you can have those communications with your customers. You can either send out text messages, send out a one-time blast. You can send out an email campaign as a one-time blast, or you can set up some campaign flows. And again, without getting too far in the weeds, really here, most common one that I've dealt with pros that have come to me is really that job completed. So you finish the job, and then you can go ahead and essentially set up how you want your marketing flow to look. And the text messages will go that way. You can even include email campaigns to go within your flow. So if you want to have a text message go out the day after, an email go out 3 days after, you can go ahead and set that up. But yeah, with the marketing campaigns here, if any of you have this, it's a great feature to have. People have been asking for it, blasting out to customers with emails and text messages. Again, benefits, keeping those relationships warm with your customer, brings in more business. So yeah, that's really a little bit of everything that I have to show you. Chris, any questions?
I'm looking through the chat right now. It's honestly a lot of feedback currently. Yeah, a lot of feedback from Franklin. Franklin will be sure to share that with our folks that work on the campaign center. But yeah, I don't see any other questions. Pros will give you guys just a sec. Phil, do you want to answer any of those FAQs while we wait for just a moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of them I kind of answered already, but I'll just kind of run down the list here. Is there a way to go to the customer's profile from the inbox? I believe as of right now, you can't go to the profile, but you do have the ability of, as I mentioned, those as the activity feed is going, it's going to show you the jobs that are being talked about within that feed. So you can always click on the job. That's what I have seen. Chris, have you heard about improvements for that?
I have not.
Okay. Um, is there a way to clear the notifications or mark them as read on the desktop? The only way is through the mobile app. So yeah, if you are going to be doing a mass like read all, my advice would be to go into your mobile app and do it that way. Again, I kind of would imagine you would want to go through some of those just to make sure you don't lose anything important. But as of right now, read all is only in the mobile app.
Yeah, and then once you refresh your screen on web, it'll all go back to unread.
Is there a better way to get notified when a customer sends you a message through the inbox? So yes, as I mentioned, you would want to go ahead and if you are not using Chrome, again, I can't stress enough, if you are going to use our software and be successful, download Google Chrome, set up those notifications to receive from Housecall Pro. So then that way you're not there in the blind. So if you're ever on another site, you're going to get the little ding and the notification that a text message has come to you. Next question, is there a way to have text messages only go out between certain hours? Really kind of depends on what text messaging. I know Daniel here is the one who asked the question. So technically, if you are sending out any text messages from your inbox, you can send those at any time. With the job reminders, as I mentioned, those are only at this time at 9 a.m. your local time. And I'm trying to think of any other text messages that would go out. So yeah, I don't really see that there's like a limit outside of the job reminders of a text message being able to be sent. Is there a way to have texted reminders sent out only during business hours? So the job reminders, again, those go out at 9 a.m. your local time. I would assume that would be your open business hours. If it's not, all I can say is sorry. At this time, it is only 9 o'clock. Is there a way for the system to add address to a notification text? I believe at this time the answer is no. It does give you your technician. It gives you the time. Um, I believe that's it. Chris, am I missing out on anything?
Yeah, address isn't available. I know that's feedback that we've heard and that is being considered for the future.
Cool. Is the number used for SMS texting different than the one we use with VoIP? Yes, I get that question a lot as well. I know we all want to kind of condense everything, keep everything as one, but really the way I try to explain the SMS text messaging, and you can even explain this to your customers if anyone should really ask. Um, First thing before I dive into that whole bit right there, I always tell everybody is with your text messaging number, the one that you pick, obviously you're going to pick a local number with your area code. However, if anybody should call that number, it gets forwarded to your main business line. So you don't miss any calls if anyone should call your text messaging number. Um, Now, to go back into having them both be different. The way I always try to make people think about it is that if you use like a food delivery service or something or your mail delivery service and you get those notifications, you're not necessarily getting like USPS's phone number. You're not getting Grubhub's phone number when they're texting you. It's just an automated text message. So that's why we try to keep it separate. Our text messages go out with our SMS line. Your VoIP lines and your telephone lines will be separate, so we don't really have to worry about any mingling between the two. Is there a way to tell if a text message is delivered on the app? You do see the check marks, but typically what I always tell people is if you want to see if the text message is sent, is check your activity feed. It will say right there if a text message has been sent. Is there a way to know, is there a way to list multiple texts on the job schedule text? I already answered that. At this time, it is only your lead technician, which brings up a good point. Let me go ahead and just quickly share how we set that up. So if you are unaware of and want to know how we get our specific technician to be the one that is the face of the team on that particular text message, is you want to go to your schedule, go to the three lines that pull out the filtering options, and we give you an area to reorder your employees. So if I move myself to the top, and let's say myself and Luke Skywalker here get sent out to a job, the text notification is going to have my name. Now, if Luke and Obi-Wan over here go out on a particular job, the text message is going to have Luke's name because he's higher up on the list. All right. Next, this one is in referred to email campaigns. Does email campaign work retroactively? The answer is no, it only works on jobs that are moving forward. Does anyone know if you can attach a PDF to the email campaign that is sent out to clients? Unless I'm wrong, I did test that this morning and it looks like PDFs do not go out. Chris, can you confirm?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm probably going to agree with you there. I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, then I'm gonna say confidently that the answer is no. I did test that this morning and it looks like I could not get any picture up. Um, can you have custom messages and dates for a few different tags? So the answer is yes. So this is this looks like it was in reference to the job reminders. Now with the job reminders, it's really just kind of one text, but to really answer this question, the answer is yes, it's in our new marketing feature. For those that missed our last session, with our marketing feature, we did basically set up groups of customers by tag. So it's one of the things that some of the feedback we've gotten is it's a little hard to be able to send a specific message to all of our customers. But what you can do within your campaigns is, let's say if I'm going to send out a one-time, again, this doesn't really work for me. Let's do an email. So if I'm going to send out an email, here's where our target customers come up. And this comes up also with the text messaging. So when we want to create a new list, it's going to ask to select the list by a condition. And one of the options is customer tag. So to answer Andre's question here, if you have multiple tags, go ahead and throw them in there as long as they are customer tags. So you can have is or is not a specific customer tag. And so maybe I want to send out this particular promotion to all of my military tagged customers, or maybe all my new customers, or both. So the answer to your question, Andre, is yes, you can do this. It's within our new marketing feature. Steve, can we send earlier than one day? Sending on Sunday for a Monday job doesn't give us time to scramble if they cancel. With the job reminders, the new way that it is set up, it's currently, as of right now, just that one day at 9 o'clock, your local time. What I would recommend is, while it is still available, is to go on up to your apps and set up let me go ahead and share my screen. Go to your apps and utilize the email automations. And within your email automations, there is, you can set up your campaign for before a job starts. And when we go ahead and it basically has all of the appointment information already on the email. What you can do is go ahead and set up a rule, and you can have this email go out a day, 3 days, 5 days, a week, a month, whatever. So until changes are made for when that text messaging job reminder goes out, this would be your best bet. Does the reminder go out for every appointment for multi-day jobs or just the first? My understanding is it goes out for every job. Chris, can you confirm that?
That should be correct.
Yeah, that was my understanding, is because essentially appointments, they're on the schedule. So the way the system will read that is jobs the next day, we're going to send out that reminder. And then last one on here from Denise, is there a way to confirm the reminder was sent? As I said, check your activity feed. That's the best place to find where messaging has been sent. And that's all the questions that we had prepared. Any new ones come in?
Nope, no other questions. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you, Phil. Do want to just remind anybody that's watching this later, whether you're watching this, found this in our help article, or you found it in Facebook, just head to the Facebook post, drop your questions, and we'll be sure to follow up with you. If you are watching this and you're not a member of our Facebook group, you're unable to ask any questions, just chat into the blue chat bubble, and somebody will be able to help you there. And then otherwise, we'll catch everyone next week. I'll also drop the help article that was just published this week. It has all of our recordings from all past 10 sessions so far. So it's all in an organized, easy to find place. So you can go and watch other features if you're interested in getting more info. Like I said, if you're an older pro, it's good to get refreshers. If you're a new pro, it's good to learn everything in and out. So encourage you to check that out. I'll drop that in a sec. But otherwise, I hope everybody has a good weekend, and we'll see you all next week.
Sounds good. See y'all later.
Thanks, Phil. Bye.
Bye.